Okay, we are back in open session. It is 6:32. Next up, we have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next up, we have comments and suggestions from the public. Anybody here wish to address the board? Okay, if not, we're actually going to move one of the action items next, since we have some people in attendance here. So I need a motion to approve item 6.04, approval of the human resources report.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments?
So I will be abstaining from this vote. I would just like to say that I am so excited for Jill, and I'm so sorry that I forgot your name. Lane. Okay. I'm so excited for you all to join us back at 59 and also at another school at Ridge. It is no issue with you all joining us. I just feel like from our SLT, we might need a little more information generally regarding some things surrounding hiring. So we're working on that together, and I know that we will come to a wonderful conclusion because we are doing the work. But I'm very happy for you all, and that's pretty much it.
I'd like to make a comment as well. Also very excited to have you join. Thank you so much for coming back and for moving to Ridge to fill in the urgent need for the position. I'm definitely voting yes because I do believe we have great candidates. But I wanted to also express concerns with the process, which we already discussed, and I know we're going to be working on increasing communication so the board is easier on the process. And clear on it. So I do have concerns with the process, but I'm very happy for great candidates. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, if we have a roll call vote.
Zach,
Aye.
Eddie, I, Johnson,
Aye.
Kitzinger,
Abstain?
Notini,
Aye.
Chesney.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. Congratulations.
All right. So I would like to just officially welcome back Lena DeVito. She will be our returning assistant principal at Grove Junior High. We're very excited to have you. And to Jill Doles, who is our current assistant principal over at Brentwood, as well as our current summer school principal. And she will be our new principal at Ridge Center for Family Learning. So we're very excited for her. And she will be starting next week.
Soon.
So congratulations to you both. And thank you for continuing on in District 59.
Thank you.
And I'm sure it's not only us welcoming you guys. I also had a chance to speak with some of the staff you're going to be working with, and they're excited as well. So looking forward to it.
Okay, great. Good. Got that? Okay. All right, so next we can move on to the financial planning and budget process. Mr. O'Connor in his last appearance.
Can we make him come back for the next meeting?
No, we cannot.
We can have, coffee and cookies.
I like coffee. So, Dr. Bresnahan, members of the board, I wanted to share the budget long-range discussion, not just with kind of how the numbers look like, but kind of the process of how things go along, just so everyone kind of understand how things happen behind the scenes. Again, the budget is known as a living, breathing document. So just because it's there doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be, right? Things can change at any given time. As we know, when there was a flooding at homes, and that was a couple of years ago, the floor buckled and we had to get some insurance out. So there's always something that may happen. So this year I actually put a lot of different numbers and dates just so people can understand a little bit more of the process. Back in October, the board gave us action for authorization to prepare the budget. So that was back in October. That means in September, we even talked about it. At that point in time, Janet Russo and I started collecting information, numbers, looking at staffing, the whole 9 yards to make sure that we don't miss anything. There's that. You have any sort of increments. We monitor how inflation's happening. You're looking at insurance, which is honestly probably the hardest thing to worry about. Construction costs, the whole 9 yards. February 12th, then at this time, we actually opened the Skyward budget entry so that each building and department could enter in their information for what their proposed budget would be based on a variety of factors. And what they'd have to do is they have to have it in detail. So when I put the budget out for the district, and I know last year the board was very, they were asking about the detail, right? That's what it is. People individually put those in there so that they can ensure that they know exactly down to the quantity, down to the item. We do a very nice job with that. At the same time, the office managers, we talk to them about the budget presentation, and then I also contact the principals and talk to them about how much money they would have in each respective account. At later on that month, Janet is available in the morning and in the afternoon for any sort of data entry support for new staff or anybody in general who wants to come by the district office, needs to know how to handle this, how to work together on the details. It's actually pretty well attended. And then March 21st, we anticipate that the department and school allocations are complete. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't happen on the 21st. We always have to push it back a little bit because of all the unknowns that may occur. So we make sure that we have a little bit more time than that. April 4th, we were saying, hey, that's the last day you have to order supplies and equipment for FY25 with the rationale, and people have asked me before, why? Well, if you already have spent what you need and the school year is going to end for you in a certain time frame, why do you need to keep spending? Right? It's about planning. Our staff needs to plan to make sure they know exactly what they need during the school year. Places, if we were to talk about Ridge, we give it a little bit of flexibility as well. But at that time around April, people should understand what's happening. And then as we're trying to wrap up FY25, back in May, we talked about the placement of the budget on display. So there are a multitude of parts that are moving on at this point in time. I can't tell you enough how much behind the scenes it is. So while we're doing that, we start talking to departments about the requisitions that they need for Skyward for FY26. Granted, nothing's approved just yet with the budget, but there are needs that the district may have, curricular needs, staffing needs. So we need to make sure that we are on top of that. Any sort of things with facilities, there can be a wait time. So we need to make sure that we get things done as soon as possible. By that time in June, we're looking at using the P cards, making sure that's the last day. Again, we don't see the need for them to use it up to that point. And then June
Ron,
30th.
what's the P card? What is that?
Oh, it's a procurement card. So each district, for our district, certain staff members, thank you, that's a good question. Certain staff members have what they call a procurement card with a certain limit on it. So when we, as the business office, go into, if someone uses it, there can't be tax on it. It has to be school related. There are certain things you cannot purchase on it. We look at the dates, we look at the times when it was purchased, what it's for, what account it's coded to, and we make sure there was a lot of tightening up on that, just because it can be as easy as someone taking a swipe of a card and purchasing something on their own. But since it is taxpayer dollars, we are very, very tough on it. The big thing about it and why we like it though, is that it gives you a rebate so that you get money back to the district by using it. So just an FYI on that one. So then June 30th, which is coming up, that'll be the last day for items to be charged. And then July 1st is the party time for FY26. The budget will be posted. We have some ideas with that. I'm anticipating on August 6th, you will have a budget hearing with edits if need be. That's going to be up with Janet in the interim, with a budget adoption on September 30th. And then it'll be well on time for October 31st with the submission to the state. And in the meantime, we'll be working on FY27. So that's the fun part about it. It's a lot of meetings and meetings and meetings, plenty of discussions amongst groups. I have to commend the leadership team here because I've been in other places and it's easy for things to slip or for me to forget or for me to go up. I rarely have to say, hey, did you enter your budget? Because they are just on top of it. They know what they're doing. It's pretty awesome to be able to have that confidence in looking at things.
Ron, can I just have a question before you move on? So there's different departments entering their budget, like what they need, but is there anyone sort of overseeing, like we have limits, like we can only spend this much on curriculum, this much on materials, this much on cleaning supplies or whatever? Is there some sort of parameters to how high that budget could go?
Not necessarily. What we do is we make sure that it's aligned with what the district's goals are. And by doing that, we also look at past practice. Like, for example, that's a good question. We look at the last 5 years and like cleaning supplies. If we see there's kind of a trend or some issue with that, it looks like you've spent a lot this past year, we're probably going to spend less. Curriculum, we're a lot more flexible on just because there's been a lot of great change happening in the district and we've been trying just to support it financially. So we do, again, I guess we look at trends and we just make sure that we do have a balanced budget at the same time. And if we don't, then there's a discussion to be had.
And is there any process for looking for better deals, like looking for discounts or, all of that? New providers, new suppliers?
Absolutely. So we actually do use, there's an online bidding system that we use for a lot of items. Even if it's under the threshold, we still go out to bid so that we can compare. Competition's the best. That's how you actually make things better. So that's what we do a lot of. We do a lot of shopping in that regard, and that actually spreads out to the rest of the nation.
And can you remind us what is the name of that online platform?
It was Fire. Let me get the. I will put it in the weekly update to make sure. Okay. But it's a it's a very good system. It has all the documents right there, which how we've done every sort of bid process. But I can make sure that we have that information for you on Friday.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
I noticed, and I didn't look today, but like we buy a lot on Amazon, right? Is that fair to say that we do a
Yes.
lot of Amazon? Have we found that is more economical than maybe just working with a supply company that can give us a deal? Have we determined that Amazon is just a better deal?
I'm going to say yes and no. There are moments when it does give you a better deal, but sometimes it feels that people find it real easy just to order from
That's what I'm
Amazon.
saying. Like it's just you got it all set up, you just go. But is it really? Would we be better off maybe ordering certain supplies from a larger company that'll cut us a deal if we commit to working with them?
In the past, we've called out the purchasers to ask them what and where, and even kind of shopped on our own on the side to see what the differences are versus where they're going to Amazon. The buildings are really good about it. I think we've been pretty tight with the dollar amounts, and they're very responsive with it. So, we're always looking at that regardless, just to make sure that there is a checks and balance. Otherwise, again, it would be just so easy to say, oh yeah, buy now. We don't just allow that. So.
And I'm just curious, is that your job, like in your position or, whoever's doing your job, is that your job to decide, we need to see if we can get a better deal, or we should look at this supplier? Is that your job, or is that multiple people's jobs? Like whose job is it?
The beauty part with the business office is that it's such a team effort and they've been together for so long. So it's a combination of all of us. We all kind of discuss and say, hey, did you see who's buying what, kind of thing. And how are we doing? Like, how is this occurring? Well, maybe we can help them with that process. A lot of buildings nowadays are actually coming to Denise, who is our purchasing agent. And then what they'll do is she's the one doing the comparison shopping with the different sites and the different areas that we've looked at. Albert Tiarina's done a great job with it. He finds these deals wherever. I got to give him a lot of credit on that regard. So I feel like it's just been a well-oiled machine the way they've handled it. We do a lot of collaboration, a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. So let's talk about the fund balance really quick. The fund balance policy says that the district shall maintain a total no less than the 50 to 60% range in what they call the operating funds. So the operating funds right now you have is Ed Fund, O&M, transportation, and working cash. So the operating fund balance is 75.9%. However, the whole fund balance, which you see on the July 1st to 25 number, that is almost $140 million. That includes your 60 funds. So we've taken that money over time, some of our excess dollar amounts, and we've putting them in the 60, which is the capital projects for the construction of other items, so that we don't have to rely on a bond. So the expenditures for budgeted for FY25 into now 26 will be $162 million. The reason behind that, though, and how it looks so large, is because when construction occurs, you don't just give the contractor the money and say, hey, go do it, right? You want to hold on to a certain dollar amount. We haven't paid nearly the $15 million for Brentwood. Same with the HVAC system. There's a lot that we hold on to before the punch list goes through, before everything is looked at where the district signs off on. So that's why the expenses look a bit higher than they do in years past, but we have the money in the 60 fund and it's been accounted for.
Sorry, real quick. So the 60 fund is not included in that 75% number, or it is?
It is not.
Okay.
No. Yeah, the 60 fund, the district is very fortunate to have had it. We have a pretty decent one right now. A lot of districts don't have such a high 60 fund. Yeah, so we're lucky. I'm sorry. It's user error. So revenue.
I'm sorry, Ron, just to go back to the previous slide. So the budgeted expenditures, that was for this past year.
No,
Or should it be 26?
Yeah, I tried to be slick and tell you that, yeah, it's for this next
It's for
year.
26. No,
Yeah.
that's okay. I figured why would you show us last year? But I just have a question. So when the budget is presented, we're going to see the details behind that 162 million. We're going to see by fund how that's allocated. And I'm assuming the capital projects are what's bringing it into a deficit.
Absolutely. In
Okay.
fact, we do have the state budget form that the board has liked over time. We
Mhm.
have that done already. We'll be able to tie that in with the Friday update,
Okay.
as well as the accounts. We have them all taken care of by dollar amount as well as by the detail.
Can I add, and I'm not sure exactly what is available to the community, though. I mean, I know we get all the good stuff in our weekly. Is the community also, I know in the past I've seen a very summarized sort of on display budget.
Sure.
Is that the plan again? Or, I mean, I'd like to see that detail for the community.
The plan is actually to put it on the website with links to kind of shortcut to, because it's all in that book, in our budget book that we've created.
Mhm.
So on the website, you'll have the budget book, the basics, and then those account codes. But it'll give
Okay.
you all the detail so everybody can look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the final resolution that we vote on, can all that detail be in there too? As opposed to just that like very summarized list?
That's-
I think I'd like to see, that's
Yeah,
what I'd
I-
like to see.
I can't make a decision for somebody who's, but I'm sure it'll,
Oh, you
You
mean
know,
because you're
I'm
not going to be here?
Yeah.
I'm sure Mosin will be watching this.
Yeah, Mosin,
and
this is for
will,
you. No,
Yeah.
I'm
yes.
just saying, I'm sorry, Ron, I can't get my head around that.
no, I can make all the promises for Mosin.
Okay, well, just
Yeah.
leave him
Yeah.
some notes.
It'll be a perfect budget. So the revenue sources, this district has actually moved even further towards the local. 87% about it is federal's at 3, and then the state's about 10. I anticipate it being even more so local in the next couple of years. Federal, especially this year, it's not going to be so affected, but probably the years in the future. And the state, there's been some proration, so that they take back from the mandated categorical funding, and then they're kicking it into evidence-based funding. So we're not going to see nearly as much since we're not as heavily reliant on some of the state funding. That's why locally it's important for the district to make sure that they are collecting every penny. The bond is going to be off in 2028, so you might as well just kind of follow through with it. And my recommendation is always going to be to max out for the levy to make sure that the district captures, despite it also having the lowest tax rate in the area. I believe I do have something I can share as well with that. That's a good point. Locally, especially, the tech park has done a phenomenal job with that. That's something that's got to be celebrated. And I mean, frankly, you don't have to worry so much about federal state, but you'll get to see that. Yeah, we can figure something out for sure. So the 2024 tax receipts, you're going to see 55% of them. And then the 2025 tax levy that's going to be coming out in December, you'll see 45%. The CPI is going to be about 2.9% for the levy. But I'm going to warn you, you're probably going to, actually, Mr. Ludloff and I were talking about it. The triennial reassessment is going to occur. So you want to make sure you capture that. You're not going to want to go at 2.9. You're going to want to go over. The district does always qualify and do it correctly. So I'm not going to be so concerned. Major corporate property replacement tax reductions. That's a big one. So back in FY23, we saw a shortfall from all these dollars through to ESSER. When it happened with COVID-19, the federal government flushed a ton of money into the districts. Last year was about 5.8 projected, and then this year it's going to be even less. I'm saying approximately 20% less. So just something to keep in mind. So that 25 is, I left that out in there on purpose actually this time. School fees, there's zero. That talk about a round of applause. That's great. And then the interest earnings increased back in FY23. That was a total of about $400,000, and now we're projecting to be $4 million in terms of that. And that's due to the district taking its money, its large fund balance, and what we've done is rather than let it sit there, we let it work for us. We've taken it over 5 years. You take enough dollars and you ladder it so that we are still getting rates from when the interest rates were up through the roof. And we'll be seeing the benefits of that over the next several years due to the strategic planning with that. That's why you'll see it being 4 million. You're seeing some of the coupons at almost 5%. And you think about that times 60, 70, $80 million, that's some major dollars for the district.
Ron, would it make sense right now to, I guess, reevaluate, with considering the interest rates are still pretty high, to see if we can get even higher?
Yeah. So what we've been doing, especially with the treasury bonds, we've looked a lot more into that because you've noticed that those have increased over time with some of the other rates. So we've been locking in on that as well. We work really closely with Fifth Third on that piece. So every time there is an investment, there's an email that comes to me, and it'll be going to Janet this time, and they bring proposals up. I throw ideas like that, just like you're saying, and then we lock in as we see something higher. Sometimes we wait just a little bit longer if we have anticipation of better rates. So for sure. There we go. We talked about the state revenues. District 59 is a tier 4, which means we only receive 0.1% of school funding. However, it's because we're so locally reliant. We have the money for it. I'd rather 10 times out of 10, I'd rather be locally reliant than anything else. And then of course, funding will be prorated. They're looking at 8-9% for some of those mandated categoricals, even further. So what would normally be like 100% of what we're looking for, they've cut down over time, probably down to about 60% for some of our major costs. So just to think about that. And then the federal, we leave them flat until the actual dollars are approved. And then ESSER dollars are no longer available. They were a nice luxury, but there's no need for them. And then there's expense categories. This is just real brief. I mean, I don't think we need to really look into this one unless you want to talk about life insurance. In the years past, the expense categories, we've seen salary and benefits taking up the majority of the district. And but this is the percentage of what we've spent. If you look at the purchase services and in particular, that being construction, and you have other, which ties into that as well. That's why it's eaten up into 100% of a dollar amount. We've spent a lot on our capital projects in the last 5 years since I've been here. It's a good thing. We haven't had to take out a bond since I've been here. That's a great thing. We want to continue that. It's about strategically spending. Things aren't cheap. So that kind of, that you'll hear that. I have a spiel about that in a little bit. Other expenses, the medical PPO is 13.9% of an increase. As much as that sounds large, it's that's not even the going rate. That's even less. Going back to staffing and salaries, though, it's based on the negotiated agreements over time, and it does include resignations and retirements. And what we do is we staff to the full amount based on the resource allocation over time. With Mr. Vittori and his HR department, we know exactly, hey, here's how much we're looking for. So we budget as if every single seat, every single person is being hired, and it has been hired. We want to make sure that we have that in case something were to happen. So we do know that. We are prepared. Going back to the benefits, though, the medical HMO is a 4.7% increase. Dental is almost 7%. Workers' comp ended up being 2.8%. The district has done a great job with that. I got to commend, I believe it's going to be more buildings and grounds. There have been less injuries. People have been more careful. And then TRS, state and federal. State doesn't change really much, but the federal is to be determined. Food service is going to go up 2.9%. They stuck with CPI. We, as a district, have taken a lot of field trip costs. Thanks to Dr. Bresnahan in the past, she's been like, hey, every child should deserve to go to curriculum-related field trips. She's done it. And it's something that has done, it's been awesome. Continuation of instructional materials. We keep doing that, making sure that our departments are staffed and they have the materials needed for our kids. O&M, we still look at purchasing maintenance vehicles just because we shuffle them out. It hasn't worked as well in the last couple of years because of the shortages with microchips. We're looking at the Brentwood and the John Jay Mobile or two other items that we really, they're more in the 60 fund, but once in a while we'll dip out of the O&M fund. There we go. Transportation, this district has a better contract than any place I can find right now with Safeway. It's a 2% increase for next year. So that'll help us. Debt service is going to retire in FY28. IMRF rate we're still waiting on. And then capital projects fund, that's where you'll see the Brentwood edition, which was 15, the ELC HVAC, which is 5, the John Jay Mobile, which is probably going to, the way things are going, $500,000 to $600,000. And then you have your 10-year facility plan that we work on every time. That capital projects fund can go quick, but we have padded it enough where we've been able to take on all of this without a bond. So here's an example, right? Kind of what I just mentioned. An SSEO upgrades to the HVAC system at 118.5. And then there's a 10-year plan that you can link. You can click on the link, but it's not going to work right now because it's not possible for me to touch it, but that's okay. That's going to be, we're going to put that stuff back on there as well, because that is a roadmap for us as well for making sure that our buildings are being maintained.
Right. Yeah, I said I'm looking at the 10-year plan.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the 2024-25 tab. I think anyone who has the agenda should be able to see it. I see a whole list of items for like playground, flooring, seal coating. Were those items was that work actually done, or?
We have done everything minus the playgrounds. The playgrounds have been something that we've kind of been on hold just with like some of what's been going on with our facility, like our plans, our facility plans. We're not trying to just add on to stuff. So this is anything that's about just maintenance we've done.
Okay, I think it would be helpful, and again, this is for Mosin, I guess, but it'd be helpful, to have this plan attached to what did we actually do?
Okay.
When was it completed, or, when is it projected to be done? Just kind of match this plan to the actual finances.
Excellent.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, and that's where even right now we're trucking along. Albert Mr. Tiarina's been out there a lot. I give him a lot of credit for just how busy he gets. Notable beginning fund balances, just I wanted to bring this up. Ed fund is going to be like 60% about of the budget amount covered, which is pretty solid. O&M's almost 100%. Transportation, despite the fact that the state has kind of cut back a little bit on it, we're looking at about 110% of the budget being covered. But that's because sometimes we didn't get all the routes right in terms of combining them or making sure things are right. But the one that you'll see in the actual budget, IMRF Social Security is going to be down. It's at 122%. There's no reason for it to be that high. I do have it. I am spending down on that, which you'll see shortly. But overall operating funds, you're looking at about 76%. Things are going very smoothly for now. There it goes. So that's why, again, we have such a high fund balance in this projection here. We're looking at the ed fund going up about 4 million. O&M about 234,000, and actually transportation, as long as we spend what we're looking at, that would be down to about 2.9 million in the red. But that's not a bad thing. You cannot just hold on to money unless you want to plan to spend it strategically. That money can be in other pockets, like look at the ed fund, right? That's important. It's important. Transportation is not the be all end all. So if you look at the operating funds, the district will be in the black approximately, $1.3 million in the operating funds. But there is a lot of little loopholes with the state. So IMRF and Social Security, we want to spend it down. We saw it's 122%. So we're going to do that. If it's in a negative, it can count against you. I wanted to make sure when we were budgeting that even with IMRF Social Security being spent down, that we'd have enough that we were still balanced in operating. And that's what you'll see there. So we are spending down at 122%. There's no reason for it to be that way. So that was kind of more the strategy behind it.
Is this assuming X percent levy change?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know what percentage you plug in there? Do you know?
We did approximately, I want to say it was like 3.2.
Okay.
The triangle is going to be it's going to be more than that probably. When the non-operating, this is not a bad thing. So please do not, whatever. The debt service, that's the bond that's going to be paid for in FY28. IMRF and the capital projects are both spending down because we've planned it. We knew this was going to happen. We're still going to have money in those accounts. So that's why you're seeing that projected 18 million difference. It's all been planned. It is what it is there.
So we're spending down our accumulated fund balance and not issuing a bond.
Correct.
Right, that's what we're doing.
Correct.
So it's 50,000. What? That's just the revenue we expect. That's not what the balance is.
Yeah. So the 50,000, it's the revenue that, so the construction bond or the construction grant that the state gives regularly, that's what that one is. So then when you see the big picture of everything, this is what the projected ending fund balances are in all of our funds. The district is healthy. We are spending down in non-operating funds. My recommendation down the line would be to look at how to spend down on some of those operating funds, but do it strategically. And I'll say something else in a few, but I just wanted you to see, and even capital projects. You're spending almost $18 million. So now they're going to be down to $9.4 million in that fund. That's still decent.
When you say spend down on certain things, can that be as simple as moving? I know there's rules, like from one fund to the capital projects fund. If we have like
there are certain funds you can move down up to. I have to be careful though, because there's a lot of legal behind that.
Sure.
So that's the one piece you'd have to look at. So the long-term plan, here's kind of the, let's talk, right? So long-term plans, it does protect, the staffing, right? I mean, it's a lot of staffing. You have almost 1,100 employees. Safe facilities for an evolving curriculum, things are going pretty well with that. But then you have the RSP and the WOLD study to prioritize the district needs. That's going to be huge. There's going to be a lot of wants in that plan. The thing is, what needs are there? So there's not enough money in that fund balance to pay for everything that they're going to identify. Just saying it. They're going to identify, update the assumptions as they change, and that'll be whatever. And then the other thing is going back with the staffing. So I've never seen an HR person work harder and crazier than Mr. Vittori with the staffing piece. We have 1,100 people. All right. That's a lot for 6,000 kids. In my humble opinion, I would reevaluate how much staffing you have. Not necessarily to take away from the students, but if you want to continue with facilities and the infrastructures and the changes, that's great and you can do it. But when it comes to staffing, the minute you have that person on the books, they get percentages year over year, and it continues and continues until they retire, unless you let them go. I'm not saying let go of people per se, but I'm saying you really need to look things through and plan it out right. It's got to be strategically spent down, right? You can't just go, okay, I want this, let's do it, and be reactive. That's the worst thing you can do. It's the staffing, I think, is going to be key. You will probably have union members that are coming off the books with some of the enhancements, right? With the 6% coming up. Consider not refilling that. And this, again, this is just me speaking now as like free advice. Okay. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's right. Don't fire me. Just wait till July 1. Sorry. And don't anticipate, just hiring and throwing money at a problem, because you do have a great staff that work in this district. This SLT is fantastic. The administrative team's awesome. The teachers, the aides, you have a great group of individuals who work really hard for you. So you don't have to necessarily add more and more and more. Just saying, because it is not sustainable. Having that many staff members for 6,000 kids is not sustainable.
Wonder, aren't most districts closer to like the 75% marker in terms of percentage of budget on staff and then benefits for staff?
It is, but what's mistelling on this one, that's a good question, Zach. The problem is that we're spending so much on capital projects that it's really like it waters down what we're spending on salaries and benefits, because we're spending so much of a bigger percentage in the capital projects piece that most districts can't even afford at this point, that it looks like, yeah, it's only this and this amount. It isn't just that. It's the fact that we do have the money to do a lot of additions. And that's another piece that when that long-term facility plan comes up, there's a lot of thinking as to what each building specifically needs. It's not going to be as easy as, add an addition. So that's just something to think about.
I think it is. I think it's a good, like, as a board, like what we can monitor, maybe it looks like it's about 2/3 right now that we spend on staffing and benefits and all that. So like trying to hold a line at like a certain percentage is kind of like our guiding.
Like if you took away, I'm so sorry, don't look at the screen. I don't even know where I'm going. Yeah, if you looked at the screen, you took away the 11% for the purchase services, which is most likely, not all of it, but some of it is construction. Same with other. It really changes the pie graph, the chart. So that's kind of what you got to keep in mind, because you're right. A lot of districts will spend a lot more as a whole, but the district has been spreading out so many of your dollars across a lot of avenues. So that's kind of something just to keep in mind.
Is that, you've lost your place? Is that it?
Yeah. Wait, there's a slide that says Finn. Wait, no, there isn't. No, we're good.
Any other questions?
No questions, but just wanted to thank you, Ron, for your service, for taking good care of us, for always reminding us how fortunate we are with our local revenues. I think that's refreshing. I mean, because it really does set us apart. But money doesn't buy everything, but it helps. So I think we can do whatever we need to do. And thank you for just your investing skill, like in getting us so many more dollars with investment income and not issuing another bond and reminding us that we don't, in most cases, we shouldn't have to, or at least as things stand right now.
I appreciate that. But it's not one person. There's not
What's
just the
your
business
team?
office too.
Your
Well,
leadership.
and yeah, Dr. Bresnahan has been integral with a lot of this. Like, it doesn't go around without her. The leadership team here. Like, I've been fortunate, and I can't believe that I get to work with them.
Ron, we still appreciate you and thank you for being part of the team for so long. But we also have on record that you're going to come in and give us a free advice. So that's next month, right? But either way, thank you. We second and appreciate you being part of the team. And sorry to see you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah, thanks, Ron. Just walk out the door. Yeah. All the if the families who are here want to leave, you don't. Sorry, you got to sit through that.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Okay, discussion items. Ron, this might be you too. For 5.01, the tentative budget and long-term plan. Or you already cover that?
There will be discussion pertaining to how the budget's developed. We talked about that, but you got to see the bones of the operation. There will be more to come. I will be working with Mosin and Janet as need be to make sure that this goes smoothly.
Thank you. 5.02 press policy updates. This is our first reading.
Yes, first reading this month. SLT has reviewed the policies and they will be for the board's approval, second reading next month.
Okay, so if you take a look at those before the 9th, have any questions, let you know.
And I think 119 is already out.
Yeah. All right. That's it for discussion. Action items. First one is we have, can I get a motion to approve the district to enter into discussions with Elk Grove Village to amend the current SRO agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anybody have questions, comments?
I think my big thing is we kind of talked about that extra SRO only being for elementary, but then the idea was to possibly have a schedule of some sort for them to go over to Displays. I think if that is part of it, I think that it is truly okay, because we do need to have that, that equity through, the district.
Yeah, I would second that as well. And I just wanted to reiterate that, that there is plenty of evidence that was presented to us, especially at the May 7th meeting, as to how a second SRO in Elk Grove could benefit the whole program, could certainly allow, periodically the SRO to be able to support our elementary schools in the ways that were discussed in terms of establishing a relationship with the schools and providing educational opportunities. And we are always looking to, whatever we're doing in Elk Grove, we do plan to adopt in Mount Prospect and Des Plaines. So just want to make it very clear that we're not just focused on Elk Grove, we're focused on our entire district. But this is ready for us. This is ready and available. So we are moving forward with it at this time.
Any other questions, comments? And those are all things you can work out with during this process. So, okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Notini?
Aye.
Chesney?
Aye.
Buckler?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Eddie? Aye. Johnson?
Aye.
Kitzinger?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. 6.02. This is the NSSEO thing, right? Okay, so if we could have a motion to approve, do we name Lucas? Or do
No,
we
it's
have
just
to-
a standard to just approve the designee to act in accordance with the will of the school board.
Okay, if we can please have a motion to approve the designee to act in, what'd you use, what word? Accordance with the school board.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions, comments?
I just have a comment that we definitely always try to do that. So I think this is just formalizing to make sure that if we have someone, the single person's opinion will not be the vote for the entire board. And that's the reason, you see communications about NSSEO, so you can always pivot anything or express any concerns. This is the way to formalize it, and definitely in support of it.
Thank you. Anything else? If not, if we have a roll call vote.
Chesney,
Aye.
Bookler,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Eddie, I, Johnson,
Aye.
Kitzinger,
Aye.
Notini.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. 6.03, this is the strategic planning work. If we can get a motion to approve the Sowell Consulting LLC for strategic planning work with the district and the board.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? If not, roll call vote.
Bookler,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Eddie, I, Johnson,
Aye.
Kitzinger,
Aye.
Notini,
Aye.
Chesney.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. We already did the human resource report, so committee assignments and process. We're kind of resetting this. Is that what it looks like? Yeah. Okay. So now with Ron gone, so Mosin will fill in as the SLT rep, I assume, for some of the,
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
also put Janet on there as well.
okay. Finance and facilities, we had Michelle and Lucas, was that you? We're on the finance and facilities committee before?
Yep.
Okay, you want to continue?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Behavior intervention committee.
I'd like to continue.
Okay.
I would like to join.
Okay. That was Nicole.
The two
and
Nicoles.
Nikki.
Nicole and Nicole.
These are some of these we all go through.
Yeah,
right?
board policy is everyone.
Okay. That's like a couple times a year. Board policies, everyone. Insurance, I can continue doing that one. Curriculum and assessment.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay. Sarah and Ryan. Okay, safety. These are superintendent level ones. The safety one was myself and
Me.
previously. Yeah,
Mhm.
want to continue? Anybody else have?
I'm
Okay,
fine with continuing, yeah.
TR, Nikki. Nutrition quality.
I guess that was me.
That was you.
It
Okay.
was Nikki and Lucas
Yeah,
last
and
year.
me.
Did you do, was there something this year?
I don't think there was no meeting. this
Okay.
year.
Anybody else?
Okay.
You want to continue?
Yep.
Okay.
I can, yeah.
Why wasn't there a meeting this year?
I think it was combined in, Ron, I don't know if you want to answer
it
it.
at one of our board meetings.
Yeah, there was a meeting on that one. Yeah, that was with Dr. Degree, I believe it was.
I think we combined some with our school wellness
Yeah.
as part of it. And then we had a presentation on the school nutrition.
That's right.
That makes sense.
So did we miss a meeting or like we weren't, or
No, there was a combination.
so
was-
the board was there?
Yeah, I think Ms. Zach was.
Sarah was
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, it really can be honestly combined. A wellness and the nutrition can be a singular committee if we needed to.
Okay.
Saw the report on the taste test on the biscuits. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing nutrition and wellness if we
Yeah.
were combining
And then
them.
I can pull back.
Okay, so who is that now? Sarah?
Sarah,
And-
and then if Lucas wants to still continue.
Wasn't Ryan on wellness? Just want to make sure we don't. Or was it just Sarah?
Wellness was just Sarah.
Then add me in, sure.
So Sarah and Lucas. All right.
And then communications, we have Lucas. You want to take some of these off? We got Lucas and
Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah, I think we have to. It sounds like I'm.
Ryan, do you want Ryan to do the nutrition one, or is that
Whatever you need me to do. I'm
or
happy to help.
communication? What?
Which one do you prefer to take? Feel free.
Communication.
Is that okay? There's some
Yep.
work already being.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Okay.
you're going to come off, Lucas? And
Yep.
Ryan
I
will
can
come
I can
on?
transition some of the
Okay.
things. Yep.
Unless you wanted to do that one and you wanted me to do the other, that's fine. If you're involved, whatever you want.
With whatever is easier for you, my friend.
Okay. All right.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
You know what?
No, I mean, you're involved and I didn't want to take it away from you. You're like, oh, you know.
Well,
so.
we're in the middle of work on the communications, so maybe that would be and wellness and nutrition is not as involved at the moment, so maybe that'd be easier
Okay, sure.
transition.
Sure, I'll take the nutrition.
on wellness and nutrition, Lucas staying on.
Thank you, Dr. Brazan.
Lucas and Michelle, I'm
Yes.
I'm on communications as well.
And then Sarah's on wellness.
All right, the long range facility planning, that's kind of on pause, but that was myself and Michelle. Head red is me.
It was Tiara and Nicole.
Okay, Tiara and Nicole. Good. Okay. That one I don't, not much. NSSEO, that's set for Lucas and Michelle's the alternate. Sarah for the Education Foundation.
Yep.
And then I am the ISB rep.
Do you need an alternate for the D59 Education Foundation or no? No. I know you're always going to go, but if you ever don't want to go, I'll go.
I think it's
Or if you're so
I think it's a
busy.
good idea. I think it's a good idea to have somebody just in case.
Yeah,
But both of you can go, can't you? Can you go
I don't
together?
know.
I think 2 at a time, for sure.
Okay, and then on there was process 2. So I know like we had some discussion about like maybe further MTSS discussions or HR reporting and all that stuff. So the process, if you want to have a meeting, I don't know which committee these would fall under, but even if it's not a committee meeting. just-
Yeah, these would be more if at any time we can do 2 by 2s, so 2 board members at a time can meet with any member of the leadership team if they want to learn more about a process, a program, anything that's open at any time. If the board as a whole would like a presentation or a more thorough review held, that would go through president, vice president for agenda planning.
Yep.
If there is something though that we want to work specifically on, like a goal for expectations around reporting on HR, that would be great to have 1 or 2 reps who can really navigate that to work directly with both me and Mr. Vittori, so we can just have clear expectations and then report out. That works, get feedback, and we can move from there.
So we actually have that request right now of HR reporting.
Yes.
Where would that fall? In which?
No, so that would just be a separate thing that we would say like, hey, Michelle knows really what she wants and represents the board's understanding and expectations. She's going to arrange a
So
time with
it's
us.
not a committee.
It does
it's
not
just
have
we're
to be a
gonna do
committee.
it.
That's like a one-off thing that just
Okay.
helps us establish ongoing communications and expectations around what you would like to see.
Okay.
Mhm.
So Michelle, Lucas, I know you sent something too. Do you and Michelle want to do that? HR reporting?
Well,
HR reporting?
So that's just a very specific recent request that we have. Are you saying we're not going to talk about that now in the open meeting?
Well, we can, but I think like it's going to be so specific, and like Lucas shared like a specific example via email that I saw.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to start with something, have it shared out, and then have a discussion, like a full board, like
Mhm.
feedback on something
Like-
concrete might be a good place to start. And we could put that just in informational items or discussion items.
Good. Do you want to be part of that?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought we were going to talk about it tonight.
Is
Like-
there something like specific? you
Well,
want-
just the request for that additional HR reporting. I mean, I know some of us have been talking about it, not all of us. In the informational items, can I talk about that, about what we requested?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we're doing now.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I
okay.
think, go ahead.
Want to get in? Go ahead.
Just so that the board has more information about the climate and culture in the schools. And I know we talked a little bit about getting more information about the exit interviews, Ross, those type of things. The board we could work more on.
Yeah, I think just a specific request that I had brought forward and Lucas kind of chimed in as well. Just right now, I feel like what we get in terms of, first we vote on the resource allocation plan, which is great. Okay, so we have that. And then in the consent agenda, there is any updates on human resources, new new hires, retirees, departures, resignations, all kinds of things. But it doesn't really give us a snapshot of where we are. It's just what just happened in that month. And then we got, an email when there's a resignation or a new hire or a new principal. I just feel like we need to just have like an understanding of the whole picture. It doesn't need to be weekly or maybe monthly, maybe quarterly. We can talk about that because we certainly know there's a lot of movement, in that area, especially in certain positions. So we're not looking at that. I think what we're most focused on, or I am, is just understanding maybe longstanding vacancies. Like we would have no sense of that. If there is a long-standing vacancy, we have no sense of it from the information we have, and also or just rate of turnover or not. I feel like if we had some regular reporting, we would get more of a sense of that. We wouldn't be asking all kinds of questions in the board meeting. I think it would just be more, and beneficial. And I think NSSEO has something like that.
Yes, but I think to the point of Dr. Brosnahan, I do think it's a good idea for maybe like you and me to meet with Ross and talk through what might make sense, talk through what is available. I would love to just say, hey, why don't we use what you have if it's something that we can pivot on and not create hours of extra work.
Of course. Right.
Yes, I think that would be the best. And, maybe it's hey, there's already a report that you can run a pivot table on and add 2 notes and done. That would be the best. Like that would be my best case scenario.
Mr. Vittori already has lots of ideas. He
figured.
loves a good pivot table.
I can
Oh, so
confirm.
I must have really made you smile when I sent my email and I used the pivot table as a keyword.
It was a highlight of my work week. I will share.
I'm so happy about it.
Yes. No, I appreciate the opportunity to hear from all the board, because I think it's just very nice to hear that recognition of sometimes when we hear things from different people and we're trying to give everyone what they need, it can be a little bit difficult. The example was really nice as well. I know Dr. Carter at NSSEO, of course, our district scales out about 5 times that.
Yep.
And this is our busiest season. Our busiest season now really is like March to September. But that visual gave me a lot of ideas, which I would like to start. I'm already playing around with. And so maybe we can start with at the beginning of each month in the board weekly. Similarly, the board asks for how many students are in each section. So now at the beginning of each month, I give that snapshot. So I thought, oh, maybe we can do something similar. And I do recall in the email at the building level, because while the consent agenda, it's just 30,000 feet. What does it look like at each building? So I have some ideas, and what I thought I would do is start by putting that in the board weekly, and then I welcome your feedback. What does this mean? This doesn't make sense. Could we get this and that? And then some of those answers might be, maybe that is a report that's quarterly or twice a year, or I build it into the resource allocation. So you're getting different levels throughout the year, and then you feel more connected. So I'll get started on that. I've already gotten started on it. I'll share it out either this Friday or next Friday. And then please let me know if it's working for you, and it'll just evolve into what works best.
Yeah, I think so. So I think you two have the green light, like for us to support you. And if you need a report back, if we have input, we can give it to Michelle or Lucas or Ross and just make sure it's kind
That'd
of
be
like
great. Right. We know you've got it. We'll find the format that works best.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. If not, we need a motion to adjourn.
Well, real quick before you do that, I just want to
Oh, sorry, Mrs.
recognize one of our amazing people over here surrounded, hiding behind all her flowers. But this is the official last board meeting of Miss Pullen. So let's just give her a round of applause, first of all. There's a lot of work that you see out at these meetings and is captured on video, but these meetings don't happen without the work that she does every day leading up to these meetings, the behind the scenes, wrangling up every department to make sure we have everything in so that our board meetings run really smoothly, so that all of you as board members have what you need. She not only serves our community and our district on a daily basis, but she also serves the 7 of you. And it is a lot to juggle. It's a very big position. She has left very big shoes to fill. And she has been in District 59 for a very long time.
52 years, if you count being a student and then
Wow.
parent. But I'll still be here. My grandkids. That's
my
been
God.
50 in
Yeah.
school.
So we'll see you.
She
in
will
the
still be
audience.
around. She will be out there.
Right.
She has been the eyes and ears of this institution. Yeah. She is just a phone call away, which is amazing. And she will continue to serve as a resource for our community and just a valued community member. She made my job so much easier coming in new into this role. And I know she has had a lot of work that from Forest View, Claremont, HR, following Tom around, I think was like the ultimate, the other Tom following her. So she's got a long history here and just made a really big difference in the lives of many of our students. And you know, you don't know it, but when parents call and they're upset or they need help, she is the person that handles those phone calls, and she handles them very well and makes sure everyone feels heard and listened to, and she can point anyone in the direction that they need. And so a big thank you to you, Cindy, for all of your hard work, and wish you absolutely all the best in your retirement. I hope you sleep in, take naps when you want, go, you know, run your own schedule and all of that. And we will absolutely miss you. And then officially we will be welcoming Maribel, who will be flying solo at the July meeting. I don't know, she might have Cindy on standby watching via video, but Cindy's done an amazing job training her, and I think Maribel is in very good hands, and Cindy's left this office in a very good place. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And in honor
Cindy?
of, sorry.
I just want to say, Cindy, thank you so much for putting up with us and the previous boards as well, because we definitely depended on you for almost everything, from scheduling, answering questions, to giving us tutorials, training on how to operate new board documentation system, which I still need to have one. But dealing with us and the fact that we have so many things that often we forget, and you have to chase us down and make sure that we look good doing what we're doing. It really is significant. Just want to say thank you. Very, very appreciated.
Ditto. I'm trying to get her out of here while it's still light for her last. We all appreciate you. All right. So if I could have a motion to adjourn. 7:35.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
I
Opposed? All right. Meeting's adjourned.